So, hello everyone. My name is Nafisa Ahmad Sulaiman, and this is part of our resume and cover letter workshop slides. I know some of you uh, couldn't join due to internet connection, some due to one reason or the other. So, I just decided to take the liberty of recording this slide so that you can go over and see how you can customize yours. So the workshop is divided into two. The first is on resume and then the other on cover letter. So which means I'll be uploading two different recordings, one on each, and I will go over some of the things that we did go over during the workshop. For the resume part, these are some of the things we did discuss. What is a resume, the types, things to consider, content. And then for the links, I think I will just be emailing it to those who are interested. Or at the end, you can see my email address. If you do not have, you can just email me and I can send you some of the links that I find useful that might help you in customizing your either resume or cover letter. And then, as I said, my contact address is at the end. So the first aspect is what is exactly a resume? So during the workshop, we did say that a resume is just a summary of your achievements, and these achievements can include educational qualifications, it can include your work history, and then the skills you build along, and other things that you think are necessary to highlight, which you think potential employers may be looking out for. We also did talked about types of resume. There are actually three types, and we will go over one after the other in subsequent slides. So the first is the chronological resume, and then there is the functional and the combinational resume. Like I said, I will be going over each one just as we did during the workshop. So the chronological resume is sometimes called the reverse chronological resume. It's the most common types of resume that you see because in this resume, you will be highlighting your work experience. Say, for example, you've been working for 5 years, and during that 5 years, you've worked on maybe you've worked in two or three different organizations, or maybe within the same organizations but different job roles. So you will use that to highlight that over that period of time, this is where you're employed at and for how long, and this is the kind of work you did over there. So this kind of resume is actually not good for somebody who is changing his or her career because changing career means starting afresh from somewhere. So it's as good as somebody who do not have experience, somebody who just graduated from the university and is applying for a job in the first place. So both for somebody who is changing a career or somebody who is starting afresh, this may not be the best resume format to use. And or if you have maybe some gap, you just decided maybe to take a break or to resign or to quit your job, and then after some time you decided it's high time for you to go back. So this may not be the right format for you to use. So with the chronological, it's always best to start with the most recent accomplishment. That's the current job that you are working at now. And I have some samples that we would go over in the next subsequent slides. The next slide would be just an example of chronological resume, and the other types of the resumes will also follow in subsequent slides. So as you can see here, professional experience, like I said, or work history is the first. So it starts with the most recent. That's the current job that you are holding now, or maybe if you are no longer maybe employed, say for example, um, your last maybe day at your last job was December 2023, and you're starting maybe your fresh application in February 2024, that's still not a wide gap, so you can still use this chronological sample to highlight your most recent work experience and then trace all the way back to show the other um, places you've worked, or maybe the other roles you play while you're working. And any other accomplishment like your educational qualification and skills will be below. For the next type of the resume, which is the functional type, here you are highlighting skills or training. Remember, chronological uh, format is highlighting work experience, but with this, you are not highlighting work experience. Instead, you are highlighting skills or training. So, this kind of resume is ideal for somebody who is changing a career or applying for a first timer, because you do not have, say for example, you just graduated and then you're starting afresh, so you do not have any work history to record. Therefore, what potential employers will be looking out for is those skills that you acquired. Say, for example, after you graduated, before you get a job, you decided to enroll in a computer program to learn how to do maybe computer programming, maybe data analysis, maybe design, coding, and whatnot. So, those could be some of the skills you could be using to highlight your accomplishment in order to attract the attention of the potential employers. So these are some examples of this type of resume. Remember, unlike the chronological, which started with work experience, here, as you can see, is relevant skills, because that's what you want your employers to see. And if you do not have any work experience, those skills would cover up. Or if you have it, you can, now you understand that you are not promoting that, rather you're promoting your skills, so that would be below your skills. And the last aspect is the combinational resume, or the hybrid. Here is a mix of both. You're highlighting both work history and professional skills. This is usually applicable for people with a lot of years of experience in either the same or different career, because over the period of time they work, they have uh, developed a lot of skills and a lot of work experience, and they've also gained, say, for example, maybe more educational qualifications. So, depending on what kind of job you are applying for, your emphasis would be on what is in the aspect of the skills that, or the work history, or the educational qualification that would be more applicable or more relevant to that job application. So that would be some of the things that you would use in highlighting. And these are some examples. And like I said, it doesn't matter the way you arrange it, because what matters is what is it exactly that you accomplish that is really more related or more suitable to that position that you are applying for. So look at it, is it your professional skills, or is it your academic qualifications, or is it your work experience? So I always, tell people that a resume is a work in progress. So it's something that you keep building as you go. But however, we all have something that's called like a draft resume. So your draft resume will be like your bank where you store all your money. So here you store all your information. So each time you see a new job advert, you're going to your bank and extract whatever amount you need. So in terms of the resume, you're extracting the kind of information that you need that will be relevant for that job. So but your draft have everything you've did from, maybe say for example, after graduating from high school all the way to your current position. So the job advert will tell you what exactly you need to highlight, because you would, through that, you will be able to go back and see, okay, my strength for this kind of application, for this job, more relevant in my work experience, or are they more strong in my skills, or are they more strong in my qualification? So whatever is the strongest, you will use that to be the first thing that you will highlight, and then the other things will follow. Because the reason is because as you're applying for that same job, a lot of people are also applying alongside you. So you wouldn't want to waste the employer's time, and you wanted them to really, focus on those things that you wanted to highlight. So that's why you're putting that at the front, so that even if they don't have time to go through all the things you have on your resume, at least they've seen the things that are more relevant. So we also did talked about things to consider in a resume, and I will go over some of those things and expatiate where necessary. So one, you have to know what format do you exactly require. Like the chronological, we said it's not suitable for somebody who is starting afresh, or somebody who is moving from one career to another career, and or somebody who have a gap, because in this case you're highlighting work experience. So you would want to think, okay, is it, am I moving from one job to another? If I'm moving from maybe one job to another within the same career, the same profession, the same field, then I know, okay, maybe the chronological part will be best, because all my work experience are all in the same field, in the same career, and then you use that. And but if you do not have any work experience, you at that, then you're going to use the functional, because at that point you're going to highlight some of the skills that will make you a good and suitable candidate for that job. I would say always proofread, edit, and you can also seek the opinion of a second person or third person to all read and see if there are errors. Sometimes there are things we may miss, and because the words we put there are the right spelled correctly, we may, Microsoft Word may not underline it with that red, line to show that this is a wrong spelling. But in reality, that may not be the right word to use to express what you wanted to say. Say, for example, if I may use the word here, HERE and HEAR, maybe you wanted to say HERE, but instead you put HER. Microsoft Word will not underline that word because it's still the right spelling. But if somebody helps you read, he or she can tell you, oh, I think you wanted to say HERE, instead you put HEAR. So those could be some of the minor things that you need to watch out, because potential employers might think either you just don't care, or you're just not suitable for that position, and that could affect your chances. So there are job specific phrases also that maybe look at the way maybe professionals in your field define the job roles, or you can look at some of the things that the job in particular that you are applying for is using. Say, for example, the job is looking for um, a broadcast journalist, and you have a bachelor's degree in mass communication, and then maybe you work as a journalist, but you didn't specify. So if you're applying for this particular role, part of the things you will highlight in your work experience, you have to demonstrate that, oh, my work is in broadcast journalism. So that aligns with what they use to advertise that job. So only include what's relevant. Remember, I told you we all have a draft, and a draft is like a bank that we pull things out from. So go through the bank and see the things that are relevant for that particular position and use it to apply. Say, for example, you're a nurse, and then there is a nursing position out there, and you wanted to apply for that. But meanwhile, you also have maybe some skills in bakery. You did attended some maybe cooking classes, and then you master that skill. Definitely, those skills in bakery or cooking are not related, so it's not relevant to that nursing position that you are applying for. However, if the nursing position, say for example, is maybe in a nutritional field, where look for a nurse who will work with maybe the nutritional team to develop, say for example, meal plan for patients, or manage the food that patients eat in the hospital. Then okay, your cooking skills might add up, because you would be able to advise, okay, for this sick person, he or she needs this amount of calories, and this and this types of food are more suitable. Then okay, yeah, that skill is relevant. But if not, cooking skills and nursing skills are entirely different, so you wouldn't want to put it in that particular resume. Remember, I would keep emphasizing this fact: a resume is a working document, and for each job application requires you to go back, go through your resume, and see how you can customize it to suit that particular job. And in most cases, try as much as possible to squeeze things in, if possible, in a page, but no more than 2 page, maybe. There could be some exceptions, especially for the combinational or the hybrid resume, because you have acquired a lot of skills and expertise in different fields, and perhaps all those work experience, the skills, and educational qualification all support that job application. So in that case, you may have a lot of things to put in, so that might maybe explain why your resume is a bit longer. But like I said earlier, always emphasize the most important thing, and then any other thing could come afterwards, because if they don't have all the time to go through everything, at least they've seen some of the things that would attract them. And then there are templates that you could use, and you can get some of them online and on the links that I will be sharing through emails. So if you don't have my email at the end of this recording, I will leave my email. And if you need those links, feel free to reach out. I will definitely send it to you. So, okay, I said I will just skip this because this would have been an activity in class. But the first part of the activity is creating the contact information section of your resume. So the things that you need for the contact information section is your full name, your phone number, email address, and contact address. That's like a physical either office address or home address, because when you submit your resume, you definitely want somebody to reach out to tell you, okay, hey, you've been employed, or you've been selected for the next phase of the interview, so you're scheduled to come on this day or time for the interview. So you would want to leave that so that they will know how to contact you. Some resumes may require social media accounts or a website, but this is optional. Not all require that. The next aspect we talked about is the objective statement. Here is just a brief explanation of the things about all those skills, work experience, educational qualification, and everything that you have. So that one sentence or two sentences will summarize that all those information that you've written below in the resume means that this is what you were able to accomplish. So sometimes the employers will just look at that statement to decide whether they should consider and read more through your resume, and of course the cover letter you will be attaching or not. So make sure the objective statement is really impactful in outlining some of your achievements. Just like the information section, the objective statement, the way you structure it, the way you place it also do not matter. You can look at templates or how other people in your field or career did maybe position their objective statement. And like I said, it's a summary of your most impactful accomplishments that will support that position that you are applying for. We did also during the hands-on activity, they talked about the employment information. Here, start with the most recent job and then name of the employer. Sometimes you may need the address, sometimes not, but look at what's the best applicable in that situation. And then dates of employment. They would want to know when you start and when you start and whether you're still working in that position or if you have moved. And then you can just briefly explain at least 3 to 5 different things that you accomplish while playing that role. Those are some of the things that would strengthen your application. That okay, while you are say for example a marketing analyst at this organization, um, you are tasked with this 3 or 5 responsibilities, so that they would know that it's relevant to what they are looking for. In terms of educational qualification, start with the most recent. If you have a PhD, PhD will be first, then master's degree, then bachelor's degree, and all the way downwards. But if you're somebody who just graduated from university, university will just be your first, maybe your high school. But in most cases, high school maybe qualification may not necessarily be something that would be considered unless if, say for example, you have a master's degree and then you have some work experience, and all of a sudden there is an maybe a job advert in an maybe vocational training center or something, and they require somebody with specific skills in vocational training. And your high school, during your high school, maybe your last 3 or 4 years of high school, you went to a technical and vocational school. So in that case, then your high school, the nature of the studies you did in your high school is then relevant to that particular position that you are applying for. So it's worth mentioning in that case. So the next is certificate and licenses. There are some professions that require a license. Say, for example, you have to have a medical license for you to become a doctor. For engineers, I think they have, is it current? I think you have to have a license in engineering. Accountancy, you have to have that. Law, you have to be called to a bar and then you have a certificate. And then there are others, for example, I know for spokespersons, for somebody to become a spokesperson in Nigeria, he or she must be a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And of course, look at it and see if your field requires you getting a license or certificate, and if you do have, is worth mentioning worth listing in your resume that you do have this license. Voluntary work and awards could be optional. Sometimes you may not have, maybe, say, for example, you do not have work experience or maybe qualification or something, but however, you did maybe some side, maybe activities, and during that, you are recognized, say, for example, as okay, best programmer of the year, and then you have that, and then the job you're applying for is a job that requires people who are good at programming, and then you can say, okay, this is even my award that could add more value. Or maybe your voluntary work. I did voluntary work in, maybe, say for example, something that is in line with the kind of job that you are applying for. That might also be something that you can highlight. But if you don't have all this, or if they are not related to the job that you are applying for, you don't need to bother. So there are skills here, hard and soft skills. Here you would want to list some of these skills because employers will be interested in understanding if you have others, things that could be advantageous to them. Hard skills are usually things that you learn maybe through going to school or taking some short courses or by virtue of, maybe getting some kind of certification. Say, for example, data analysis or programming, design, or even foreign language. Say, for example, in addition to speaking English, you're also proficient in Spanish, or English, or Arabic, or any other language. That could also be part of your hard skills. Soft skills are usually things that are part of our human nature, or maybe part of the things that we develop through our one on one interaction with people. And one example could be communication skills. Um, Another, then could be like critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork. Maybe during your previous work, you were a team leader, or you work in a team, you work with others to achieve some things that you think are worth mentioning, which you think are also relevant to the job that you are applying for. So basically, those are the things that we did mention. I did said I will leave my contact address in case if you want to contact me, or if you want me to have a look at your draft resume. I would be happy to have a look, and if there are feedback, I uh, could maybe give you or offer so that you can make yours a better one. So this is it. For those of you who already registered, you have my email because we did communicated. I did send you different things over the time. But if you do not have, that's the email to reach out to me. I do have social media accounts, but Facebook is, I would say, like my strongest. But I do not check Messenger often, so just uh, you know, I do not check it as frequently as I should. So the best ways to reach out to me is either to leave maybe just an open comment under any of my posts, or best I would say is still the email. So you can reach out to me there, and then that's my website. I encourage you to have a look. If there are some feedback that you have for me on how to improve some of the things that I posted on that, feel free to do that. And I will also be recording the cover letter slide video and upload it as soon as I can. Thank you.